What? Huh? Yeah. Okay, so you want to make a pinch pot. And if you were ever did a pinch pot in kindergarten, hopefully it looks better than today than what you did in kindergarten, because it looks really pinched up in kindergarten. So you want to roll this into tennis ball. This is probably a little smaller. And you want to take your finger or fingers, thumbs, and you're going to push it in, and you're going to work your thumbs around and make a little pinch pot. It's going to look like now half of a sphere. Okay? You don't want the walls. These are the walls. You do not want the walls to get any thinner than a 1/4 inch, because if you do, what ends up happening is you have these are walls you're going to build on, okay? And they're not going to be very sturdy. So you want the walls to be thick enough. So then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in my little nest. Okay, I'm going to put it in the nest. Okay? So this is what it's going to look like. Okay? Now I'm going to start the coiling process, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a coil. I'm going to test you on this, DeMonte. You're going to have to watch the video again. I'm just kidding. When you're coiling, guys, a lot of people have a hard time coiling. It's just a matter of practice. It might help if you mash it down into a long shape. I'm just going to say shape. And then you are going to roll it. You're going to use all of your fingers on either side and your thumbs, and you want to roll it, and you're going to, as long as you're rolling it with all of them, and you can go from fingertip to palm. Fingertip to palm, it should work. Y'all have a tendency to push down and it flattens, and the problem with that is then it gets floppy. It's flopping over while you're trying to roll it. If it gets floppy, then pick it up on its longest side and push it down and try and roll it back out. So I'm rolling out my coil. Does anybody know how thin it should get? The maximum thinness? Huh? The size of your thumb. If it's any thinner than the size of your thumb, it's too thin. Okay? So you don't want it too thin, because once it starts getting too thin, then it will not, remember, it's the wall of your clay. Okay? So you're going to roll it out like this. Okay? There's my coil. Okay? And if you can't roll a coil long enough to go all the way around, you can do it in pieces. But remember that those pieces need to overlap each other, because you'll end up with gaps in between them if you don't do that. Does that make sense? So you're going to take your coil, your pinch pot. This is my pinch pot. I'm going to now do what's called, when we bind together clay, you have to do a process called scoring and slipping. And that is so the molecules at the level of the kiln, when it gets so hot, 2,000 degrees, if it's not bonded together by water, the molecules will simply separate. It's kind of like throwing a piece of paper towel, wet paper towel, at a wall, and usually it sticks, but when it dries, it's going to fall off. Same process. I've had kids not believe me, and they've ended up with features falling off their vases and their whatever, their art. So please do not do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is called scoring and slipping. You'll like this because this has teeth on it. Everybody see the teeth? Well, you may not be able to see the teeth. It's got like a, okay, see? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to score with the teeth. Instead of having to score every single line, okay? This is very nifty. And you want to score the top of your coil. Here, I'm going to move these together so you can see it. You want to go in two directions if you can, but just having those grooves there really improves the surface for binding. Okay, now I'm going to take a brush with water and I'm going to brush over my scoring. Okay? And I'm going to do that on both pieces, and it's going to go in all those little grooves, And it's kind of like the traction on a tire. It's going to pull them together. Okay? Now, I'm going to move it around like this. Is everybody watching? And here's where I'm saying overlapping is important. You're going to overlap by pinching this off and pinching this off, and you want to have this overlapping. Okay? Now, here comes when y'all start making mistakes. And this is when you pinch too much. You're going to pull with your thumb down. It's not going to be pretty. It's not supposed to right now. You are binding the clay together, making it one body. Okay? You can pull it up, whatever works for you. Does everybody see that process, me pulling it? It's not easy. This is not Play-Doh, okay? This is not, it takes a little bit of sticking your tongue out. Oh, just kidding. Don't do that. Or you can pull it up, whichever one is easiest. Do you see how I'm holding it in my hand so it doesn't lose its form while I'm doing that? So you're going to push and pull, push and pull. Yeah. Okay. Now, you want it to be smooth, right? You want to control the surface, whether or not it's rough. So you're going to hold it like this or hold it like this, and you can come in, and while you're holding it in the palm and the cup of your hand, you are going to take your, this does not have the grooves, okay? It's flat. You see the side is flat? You're going to take it and you're going to run it around here while you're holding it, okay? Then you're going to flip it over like this. This extra stuff, just put it in your water. It's going to turn to slip, okay? Then you're going to take this. Notice you can pull up, you can go around, okay? And this will become easier once you get more practice, but you have to push while you're pulling because the clay is, well, I'm saying like you're going to pull around like this, but you need to push down because you're trying to make it smooth, okay? Then you're going to put it at the end of class today. We're going to put it in here like that, okay? Now, believe it or not, this is going to hold it up. And then once I'm going to put these on the window seal, they're going to get a little bit drier. Not a lot, but a little bit. And it's going to be firm enough to stand on its own without expanding. Because if I put this out like this and I leave it like this long enough, it'll completely go out flat. Okay? And everybody's like, but I don't want a base that's round like this. It's not going to be. It's going to flatten itself out. But you don't want to do it at the rate that it's going right now. Does that make sense? Okay. Are there any questions about that process? Okay, the only other thing I want to talk to you about real quickly before we go to lunch is we're building up right now. We're not going to build out yet. We're going to build up about 2 or 3 coils. When we get back from lunch, I'm going to show you how to build out or in to change the shape of the vase. Okay? All right, cut.